Now, my music. Oh shit! What's up, y'all? Oops. What's up, bitches, hoes? Wait, you can't even say that shit on YouTube. That's right. We're not. This isn't a Twitch only stream. And I am fucking advertiser friendly. Yo, let's go. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Everybody in the club. Everybody, we got that Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead music right now. It actually isn't, but it's close enough. What's up, squad? What's up, squad? J King, Marcus, Pure Good, everybody, both on Twitch and on YouTube. It's going to be one of those rare times. I'm going to lose subscribers on YouTube because it's dumb, but I figured this one is going to be an interesting one, and we're going to let the YouTube crowd also call in and talk about Army of the Dead. Oh boy. Now, first and foremost, hold on, I like that part right there. All right. Wait, I want to also make sure you guys can hear the music, right? Because otherwise it's going to look really awkward if I'm up here by myself just vibing. Really awkward. Yeah. You can't, are you serious? You can't hear the music? No way. So that whole time I'm just nope, no peer music. Oh man. What about now? Can you hear the music? Okay, now you can hear the music. All right. I think I know what happened. Okay, but it's all good. And most importantly, I need to make sure you guys can hear this.
You're living in a fucking dream world. You're living in a fucking dream world.
What the fuck else are you doing, you asshole?
All right. We gotta have the sound bits in there. All right. It's very important. Okay. Let's talk. Let's talk about. Oh, you definitely hear that. All right. Oh yes. All right. Let's go ahead and talk. Let's go ahead and talk about Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. So first and foremost, before I get into this, because I totally have a feeling like after talking with everybody, I'm gonna hate this movie. That's just kind of the way the internet works, unfortunately. It's a sea of opinions, and your opinion can sway the more and more. That's why I never read reviews. That's why I never read reviews. I never really pay attention. But when you're doing a live broadcast, when you're talking to people, people will start pointing out like the biggest plot holes, and you'll be like, damn, you're right. All right, that was a dumb movie or whatever, right? Like, I personally, so I haven't really read what anybody has said. I haven't really even seen my critiques to the reactions, my reaction or whatever, right? I don't care about any of that. I went in, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It wasn't good. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great movie. It wasn't like a masterpiece or something, but I wasn't going into a zombie movie expecting a masterpiece. I was going into a zombie movie semi-expecting Zack Snyder to think that he was making a masterpiece based upon his relationship with WB. I'm sorry, his relationship with the superhero movies. I went in there expecting this like glorified sort of posting of life or whatever, and some sort of symbolism and blah blah blah, and lots of Jesus Christ references, right? Or Greek references. But that, that's to be expected with Zack Snyder at this point in time in his career. It's like everything is gonna kind of look like that at this point. But regardless, nah, man, like from what I watched, and just for all firsthand, it was fine. It was dumb. Like, it wasn't supposed to make sense. There were gaping plot holes for the most part. But once even early on, once you started noticing that, if you can just allow yourself to be like, all right, just think Transformers or something like that. Like, just think Michael Bay, think Transformers, whatever. Just let it slide. Like, some of these character decisions make no sense. Just turn your brain off. Don't have the absence of thought and logic, and it kind of works fine. Like, it's like whatever, I think in that sense it works really well for Netflix. Because if I had gone to a theater and paid like $20-something, $30-something for a ticket, I would have been pissed. I would have been so mad. If I saw it in 4DX, maybe I would have enjoyed it though. Still, like, because every time there was like blood splurting everywhere or water in your face or whatever like that, right? But I'm sure they don't do that right now because of Corona. So, it's fine. So for me, it was fine. I enjoyed it. Now, what I will tell you is that I have been noticing that online, apparently, I guess because of Easter eggs, this movie is now supposed to be deeper than it really was. And that's kind of where I disagree. That's where I kind of disagree in terms of enjoying this movie. Like, I can enjoy this movie as a just regular whatever, a B movie like that. Dumb fun, right? But if we're talking about world building and we're talking about making a universe sort of situation and making logic out of it like that, then that's where I fully disagree. Like, in terms of like that, because if you're trying to build a world around it and trying to make it make sense, then this movie fails spectacularly at doing that sort of, giving that sort of interest, giving that sort of plug, like, and this opens up into a larger discussion you can have if you want about Zack Snyder's writing ability and everything. If if the fans are basically making the script for the sequel at this point and giving ideas based upon what they saw in Easter eggs, and need to kind of construct things, if everything needs to be explained a lot more, like there was the discussion I was seeing yesterday with one of my friends about the fact that apparently, I forgot what part it is, but there's some part of the movie that's supposed to be better explained in an animated series that's going to be coming to Netflix soon. And it's like, why? If you keep on needing like DLC to fill things out, or director's cuts, or Snyder cuts as it is, to explain things better, then that's not a good movie. Like, if you need further installments to get the whole picture to make the movie better, then that's not a good movie. And we've seen this problem a lot with Zack Snyder in his take on the DC universe, right? Like, you don't need, like, you know, how many directors do you know need to make 3 or 4 movies for it to all make sense? Like, nah, man. Like, it's fine if Netflix wants to do all that. I'm probably not going to be along for that sort of ride, watching each one, like, because the bottom line for me is it's not that interesting enough to stick around. And, you know, we've already solved this problem, and we're going to talk about this as well in terms of Zack Snyder's divorce from Warner Brothers. I was going to have a specialist on here earlier, like a particular person that's kind of essentially in the industry with all the scoops and things like that, but we unfortunately need to save that for another day, because I was not able to get the clearance needed for him to essentially talk to you guys. Things are a little too hot right now, and it was a very hard no with WB right now. It's not something that we should be publicly talking about right now. So I think give me a few more weeks to a month or something, and maybe then. In all likelihood, I have a feeling that it's going to I'd say once Flashpoint comes out, or whatever the Flash movie is, or at least trailers for the Flash movie or something like that, I think there's probably going to be more of a chance that we can talk about some of the stuff that I'm familiar with or that I know. Just right now, it's just tensions are just way too high with this divorce. And we shouldn't really be adding fuel to the fire. But yeah, we're going to be talking about this divorce, dude, because like pretty much, as you can mostly tell from all sides here, Zack Snyder is done with the WB. The WB has been done with Zack Snyder. And if there's even further evidence that they're just retreating, and this is what I said when we were talking about the whole Black Superman situation with the DCEU being completely broken, right? If there's even further evidence that the WB just has no interest in reprising anything remotely related to Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill just signed on to do a Highlander movie, a Highlander remake movie, something like that, right? So he's got that, The Witcher. I mean, the dude is he's like, yeah, my schedule's booked, y'all. Like, you don't want to use me? We don't do anything, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, same thing. In terms of ever doing Thomas Wayne or something, nah, the dude that was actually in Batman v Superman, one of the most critically panned movies of the DCEU. Nah, we're good. Keep going on. Wonder Woman, we're gonna keep you. You're making money. Aquaman, you made $1 billion. We're gonna keep you. Flash, well, you're contracted. Let's just get this over with and try to see if we can do something completely different. You're the last hope to saving this canon storyline that we can have some sort of excuse to change things. I honestly believe, my opinion is the fact that this is just based on the news that I get. This is based on the news that I get and that I've seen, is the fact that in all likelihood WB is being very quiet on their new direction right now, where they're trying to go, because they don't really want to make the same mistake that they made last time, which was announcing a bunch of stuff. Well, I mean, they still do that kind of weird stuff, but announcing things and kind of explaining their direction and trying to have one person helm the entire universe and just expecting people to show up to go see it, right? Because again, as I said, tensions are high, but ain't nobody trying to watch it. Like people just are not feeling it right now. Anything WB is doing, because it doesn't seem like they actually have a plan, which I think they have somewhat of a plan after the Flash movie comes out. They have some sort of idea of how they're going to try to rewrite things, but they're just not really, it's not concrete enough and not enough faith that it's going to be pulled off. So they're just kind of staying quiet about it until said situation comes out, said movie comes out. So all right, so yeah, again, for me, basically, I thought Army of the Dead was good. I felt like Army of the Dead was a good place for Zack Snyder to start his career on Netflix. I personally have no problem with Zack Snyder being a Netflix director. There's no shame in that. But, you know, because I definitely feel like at this point in his career, for whatever reason, Zack Snyder just wants to do movies his particular way. And I think what really happened, a lot of it, what happened was a lot of what happened is just when it went from young upcomer Zack Snyder 300 to visionary director Zack Snyder. Like when I started seeing that being his introductory thing on every product, like from visionary director Zack Snyder, I was like, what director does that? Like, what person does that? You know what I mean? Like a Zack Snyder film and all of that, right? Like, I don't even think Christopher Nolan does that kind of stuff, right? Like, he just says from the director of the Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan, like that, right? Like, the only person I can really think of remotely, you know who actually does that? Michael Bay. A Michael Bay film like that, a Spike Lee joint, a Steven Spielberg production like that, right? A George Lucas. It's like, yeah, but generally speaking, you know, when you start calling yourself that, it seems a little pompous, a bit like calling yourself a visionary director, right? Like that. When that started happening, I started noticing, okay, this dude is just going by his own plan. He wants to do things his own way. And, you know, that's why I somewhat take issue with that whole Green Lantern thing. It's like, yo, didn't WB just give you $70 million to finish your vision, complete your vision? All they ask is like, you don't do certain things that have bankrupted their business like that. And I did it anyways in my backyard. It's like, okay. Like, I'm like, so that's why I feel like Netflix, it works well for Netflix. Like, just be on Netflix, do your own IP, whatever, do your own thing. Your fans will flock there, and if it helps to get more audience, if it helps to get more people, sure. But, you know, I think it's fair enough to really put Zack Snyder in that category of cult like films, B-movie type films, like the, definitely within the world of like Michael Bay. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Michael Bay's movies actually made money though. That like the Transformers world, made a lot of money, so that they kept on putting them out. But I want to say Quentin Tarantino, but I still think actually Tarantino's writing is far superior and actually pretty deep most of the time. Are complex. It's just sometimes it gets a little lengthy, but it's that's his own style, right? There's other directors that I can't really think of right now where it's kind of just like, yeah, okay, they have certain points about them that are interesting, but the overall movie itself, in terms of a presentation of story, is never really that good. They're popular, but they're not great directors. They're not like masterpiece type of directors, like not everybody can be Scorsese or even Christopher Nolan. There was a point that I was going with right here, but basically, I just think it's in a very specific category that seems to really lend himself to that B movie, popcorn movie. Like, don't take it so seriously. He might want it to be taken seriously. Fast and Furious type style. Like, we're not taking it that seriously anymore. And if you really want to find some depth in these films, by all means, but I think they're called Easter eggs for a reason. I was hearing about all the Easter eggs in Army of the Dead, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Do I really want more of this world explored? Not really. Like, it was kind of weird. For me, now, when I started hearing about those Easter eggs, you know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of his name, Ripley Scott, right? Or Redsley Scott, Mr. Scott. Yeah, Redsley Scott. Aliens, Prometheus director. It reminded me of Prometheus in the sense that, and I was always curious, how did Prometheus do in America? Because I remember when that first came out, when Prometheus came out, people were mad. Like, they were like legit. Ridgely, thank you, Ridgely Scott. People were like legit mad about that. Was because it was like changing the lore, and like it was a lot of head scratchers at the end of the movie, and you're like, wait a second, and you have to like really go and do some homework about that. But see, the thing is, I think like Ridgely Scott is an actual really, really good director, and it's shot really, really well. It's not like he's trying to be artistic. It's just really, it's done really well. And it looks really good, and you're never really taken out of the movie. So I felt like it was fine. But like, he started putting a spin on things and being like, wait, what? And when I'm starting to hear about Army of the Dead with the blue baby that went pink and the aliens and all this, I'm like, ugh, man, like, dude, just make a simple ass movie. Going back to my example, that's like putting out Prometheus first and then doing the Alien series and then doing all that. It's like, okay, you're gonna put all these Easter eggs in or all these head scratchers, but is it really that interesting from the beginning to do it like that? In retrospect, maybe it's kind of cool after you've had other movies under your belt that can build into like putting that world together. But yeah, that's my whole thing. Yeah. So all right, we're going to open up the streams here. I was trying to get some YouTubers on here as well if they wanted to join in and talk about this. If they join, they join. If not, it's just gonna be you and me, and we're gonna be talking about this here, you know. Let's go ahead and take a look at the comments, y'all. What do you guys have to say about this? But yeah, you know, Netflix, sign them up. Let them go exclusive. I don't care. Like, I don't care, man. Like that, you know. I feel like Zack Snyder is a one-dimensional director, and very interesting. I'm seeing like a lot of you guys are like we're not feeling this movie, which is crazy. Like every time I have these live discussions, I always want to know what people think. And most of the time, when we do these live things where people can call in and just say what they want to say, it always just seems to be a sort of one-sided thing. But then, for whatever reason, I post a reaction or something, you'll start seeing me, come on, Akasan, use your brain, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, where the fuck were you? Where the fuck were you when I was doing this live call-in? You know, come on, not everybody hated it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, where were you at that time? I'm giving you guys an option to let your voice be heard. But it's like, all right. Anyways, so Squad asked me here, Aka, you can't lower your standards for Zack Snyder, or you have to. For this movie, yeah, because for this movie, I was like, what? It's a zombie movie. I hear zombies. It's supposed to be a zombie movie. We're lowering the standards, like based on what I saw with the trailers and what they were trying to do. We're gonna lower our standards because that's kind of the precedence that we should go in. Now, again, my whole thing is, if you want to heighten those standards, if you want me to grade that on a DC level, DCEU level, on like a strong IP franchise level, yeah, this movie was fucking garbage. Like, yeah, it was terrible. Like, you ain't about to make a deep story about zombies. And if you are gonna do something like that, you very well need to have characters that are interesting to carry an entire film. You know, at the end of the day, as far as we can tell, almost like this was essentially Suicide Squad if the WB didn't care about their characters like that, you know. Everybody basically died at the end of this movie except the volunteer girl, the daughter. Even the woman, like, I don't even know what happened, but the woman, the whole point of like this extra side story of trying to save this woman that got snatched up and everything, I don't even know what happened to her. She disappeared on the helicopter. She blew up. She evaporated into the nuke explosion or something. So basically, all that time, all that work, and the two women. So 3 of them got dragged away, right? 3 of them were snatched. 1 of them got dragged away. 2 of them went into the helicopter, as far as I remember, and then we didn't hear from them at all. The pilot got shot, I think in the chest or something, or was losing in the shoulder, lost blood, crashed, whatever. Everybody basically died, like devoid of logic, all of it, man. But like I said, if I turn that all off, I'm like, okay, whatever, just take it for what it is. Yeah, it was enjoyable as a dumb movie, but yeah, we're not hold on. I found one person. Here we go. Julian Garcia, 6 out of 10. All right, there you go. All right, let's open up the phone lines here so you guys can call in, because I know you're tired of hearing me saying what I had to say about it. Let's go. The guy in the vault survived. Yep. Like, I'm like, how do you survive? Like, I mean, I saw some people trying to make some excuses for that whole thing about, okay, so he didn't turn early. Like, he didn't turn as fast as everybody else turn, and he didn't notice a gaping bite because you don't always notice when you get hurt. I'm like, if you had survived a nuclear explosion, first of all, why was it a low-level nuclear explosion? On top of that, was that enough to kill a zombie? Like the thing that threatens your entire planet, and you're using a low-level nuke to wipe out everybody? The entire thing is just whatever, man. Like I'm saying, when you try to make it make sense, that's when it starts annoying me about the movie. Yeah, the time loop thing was very interesting as well. The time loop thing was interesting, but it was thrown away so quickly that we all just kind of forgot about it during the reaction. Yeah. The movie started strong and spiraled so hard. All the little tidbits. Yep, exactly, just fresh. The only thing that I actually noticed was the cyborg, the robots, and that got cut out of the reaction because I think even my editor thought, I'm pretty sure that my editor thought that this was just me over analyzing, because I was like, wait, did that baby just go blue or whatever like that? And, you know, my editor doesn't want to make me look dumb, just seeing things. So, you know, I pointed out like the whole time loop, the robot point when they were in the casino and one of them got shot up. And I was like, is that blue? I even noticed when some of their eyes were blue, when that 300 group shot, right? And I pointed all those things out, but at that time when he was editing, nobody was talking about any of that. So I think he just assumed that I was seeing things, so he just cut it out. So yeah. All right. Let's take some calls, man. DC fanboy.
What's up?
What's up, man?
So for this movie, I thought it was decent. I was the one who gave it a 6 out of 10. And
Okay, cool.
yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part, even though like, you know, I'm not like a zombie movie kind of person. Like, that's not really my type of a genre, like horror and zombie flicks. What was interesting actually, because I was actually interested in the movie because I heard about the premise. It's a heist film in the zombie apocalypse. I'm like, okay, we haven't seen that before, so that's what's gonna be like the main intrigue. So for that, that's mostly what like I thought was a cool premise, and I think Zack Snyder was like the perfect kind of person to handle something like this. You know, this is more his speed. Like we already talked about, you know, I don't think he should direct DC films anymore. That's just my opinion. You know, if he wants to do these kind of films, then that's fine. This is actually like right in his alley. And also, if he wants to stay on Netflix, that's also good for him because Netflix is smart. They know who likes what. Like they know, like even if there's like a lot of hate received for like different actors and directors, like they know that they still make money. Like for example, you know, Adam Sandler, you know, people don't like his comedies these days, but they make money. So Netflix obviously gives him like 20 movies to do for them.
Uncut Gems was a cult was so popular. Everybody was saying you got to watch Uncut Gems, and then my friends that actually watched it was like, this is garbage, dude. but there was enough people that really enjoyed it. So yeah, I think that you're absolutely right about that. Netflix is a much better home for them than WB.
Yeah, and they know it. They probably know about the Snyder Cut things beforehand when they gave him this movie. Like they probably gave it to him around the time when like the hashtags were like really like trending. So they know like people are like loving him right now. So they're like, hey, Zach, would you like to do a movie with us? And even better, would you like a prequel and an anime series? We got you. Yeah, Warner Brothers is between you, right? Yeah, come with us. Come with us. We got you.
We're gonna give you all the chances you need to explain your full story, right? Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So that's good. So hopefully he does more stuff like this. You know, if he directs that prequel and if he has like a hand in the animated series and does other kind of films on Netflix, that'd be pretty good. And let me ask you this: do you prefer this movie or the Snyder Cut? If you had to choose one, which one would you rather watch?
Oh, of course, Army of the Dead. Of course, Army of the Dead. Yeah,
I would have said the Snyder Cut. I mean, I like the Snyder Cut slightly better.
Really?
I think like the pacing for the Snyder Cut, even though the movie's 4 hours, I thought the pacing was better for me.
Oh man, I couldn't. I cannot sit through I couldn't I could barely sit through the Snyder cut the first time. Like there's no way that I can sit through a 4-hour movie like that because for me personally, it was very, very slow. The slow-mo was just really, it was like we've seen the trimmed down version of it, albeit a very, very different ending. We've seen enough bits and pieces of it, particularly that first half of the Snyder cut is essentially still the theatrical version, just a little different. Excuse me. So for me, to drag something out like that for 4 hours, I'm like, nah. With Army of the Dead, it's just like it was what 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There's the pacing is good. They do backstory. So essentially, the Snyder cut, the Army of the Dead version of the Snyder cut, essentially would have been that montage of the title sequence, us seeing more information, just over explaining what happened with Batista's family, all the extra stuff, the uncut stuff. I felt like Snyder, that was a good idea. Look, just tell the story in the opening here. Let's just do a little bit of that, and then we skip all that. Then show us the version of them easily breaking into the vault. Okay, in a little montage that Scorpion was explaining, and then show us the actual real thing that's going to happen. I thought that was fairly brilliant and a fairly good way of kind of getting over some of the zombie cliches of everything's going to go wrong, but here's the original plan. This was a very quick way of getting down to the actual plot, the actual story. So yeah, I personally thought it was fun. I definitely would watch Army of the Dead way more. I could actually watch it 2 times before I finish one more watch of the Snyder cut. So,
that's interesting.
But that's just me. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. There's people who are gonna who's just like everything he does, Snyder Cut and Army of the Dead, and there are people who like this is more my kind of film and such. And yeah, I mean they're both pretty similar. Like they're both like overly long to me. I think like they definitely both could have been trimmed down, especially Snyder Cut could have been 3 hours.
Yep.
This film could have been about 2 hours, especially like they both end the same way. Do you notice that like how Snyder like he makes the film end and then it goes on for 10 minutes afterwards? Like I thought we finished. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, for Justice League, like that nightmare sequence, and then for this movie, that whole sequence where he gets out the vault and gets on the plane. I feel like it would have been a better ending if he just left it the way it did with the daughter and like Batista dying, and like they didn't have to.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I feel like it ended on a good note right there, and but like this because like that end credit scene just feels like it's like just like the Snyder Cut, like it's setting up the sequel or setting up something else.
Well, right, but that's kind of the intention, right? And so that's where I think it also, I don't like this idea of like making franchises. I know the dude's got to live, the dude's got to eat, right? But I'm like, just tell a complete story. So I agree with you on that point. But they did need to explain what happened to that dude. But I mean, it was so obvious that guy was going to live by being inside the safe. Still dumb logic, but but to answer your question, I mean, he's been doing that since Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
The only movie that I vaguely remember that didn't have any sort of nod was 300. Like that one just ended as is. And no, I take that back. Even with the ending of 300, it showed, but it was more of a symbolic ending or whatever, where it was kind of like, okay, Leonidas dies, but he assembled all of Greek to fight, and they ended it that way. So, specifically Dawn of the Dead was the same way during the after credits. Or during the credits, they were showing people on a boat trying to get to the island, and there was a zombie head inside. So it's kind of normal to do that sort of thing with Zack Snyder.
All right, yeah. So as my closing thoughts, basically, I don't hate Zack Snyder. Like I like the guy. Just in real life, he seems like a cool guy. I've seen his interviews and like videos when he talks about his stuff. Like he has a vision. Like he's always been like a visionary director. He has a passion. He like takes good care of his movies. Like he writes it, does it photography and cinematography for his own movie. So you know he cares about what he's doing, and he's not just doing this for like a paycheck. Like he actually, even if you don't like what he does, especially with like DC and stuff, even though I don't like what he does with DC, I always understand his vision. I always understand that this is the best film he could have made, and this is what he wants to do. So
I agree with you.
That's what I always liked about him. So same thing goes with this film.
I think that's a very perfect way of saying that he did the best that he can do. He did the best kind of film that he knows how to do, and he put his heart and soul into it, and that's that. So
yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I agree. It was a fun movie. It was a very fun movie. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, DC fanboy.
Yeah, of course. Take care.
All right, man. I like stopped mid sentence. I was gonna say I think I was trying to say take it easy, and I was like, I just ended up saying like titty, like T. I had a stroke midways, man. Oh my god. All right. Speaking of which, hold on. What's up, J King?
What's up?
Hi.
Yeah, I already know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say something about these lights, aren't you?
Nah, not today. Not today.
Okay,
it's all good, man. We all know where you're at. The champagne room here, so it's all good. You got that purple. Oh, I see. You're trying to make it seem like you're matching Army of the Dead here.
I mean, it's
are you surviving inside the bank? Is that what you're saying? Or what you're saying? What you're saying is you're the new Easter egg. The black guy was the one that was talking about the time loop, and suddenly he was the one that was in the safe. What you're basically saying is that you're part of that story in a time. You're the younger version of that black dude that's inside the safe right now. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Well, I mean,
or you might be in the womb of that zombie woman, but you know.
Oh God, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that. I don't want to see that ever again. Okay.
Ripping out a fetus. Are you going to be the zombie fetus of all right. Anyways, what did you think about the movie?
Okay. So I saw it last night. I wasn't there for the live reaction, but I saw it last night. I didn't know what to expect because zombie movies aren't really my cup of tea that much. I mean, I'm good with zombie like video games like Resident Evil and The Last of Us and all that, but zombie movies aren't really my forte. But I was like, let's see how this goes. It's on Netflix. Let's see, what type of film Snyder can do with this. Because funny enough, I have not seen a Day of the Dead, but I might want to after this. How is it actually?
That's great.
Okay.
It's depressing as hell though. So that was like that was my first introduction to Zack Snyder ever, and in general, I was just like, wait, okay, this is depressing. Like it's not a happy ending. It personally for me, I left my thought of that movie was like, oh man, this is just sad. Everybody tried to survive, and well, there wasn't any sort of idea of survival. So but
yeah, which I guess could be said about this movie as well. But
Yep.
talking about this zombie movie, I think this is definitely one of the Snyder films I probably enjoyed the most from him. Like it definitely was a different feeling, especially with for the most part seeing many of his films be about DC. Many of his films having to be about DC. So many people chanting about it, even though the dude obviously at this point does not want to go back to Warner Brothers. He does not want to do any of that. Let him do something somewhere else. And I definitely think Netflix was probably the best place for him because they'll let him do as much as he wants to do when it comes to these type of stories. And again, it's the best platform. I mean, hell, how many zombie movies do you know are literally caused because two people wanted to get a fucking blowjob on in the freaking dirt road?
Well, technically, one person wanted to give, the other person was getting it. So yeah.
Again.
I don't know. I mean, that's dumb. I mean, actually, to be honest, like if we're really like, there are films like that happen all the time where it's just kind of something dumb. Especially in the 90s, a lot of movies were made that sort of way. If I even recall, I think Terminator 2 had a similar sort of scene, and we're always going to have that sort of I forgot what it's called, the something luck, where, like, for example, the mouse and the rat in Endgame is the whole reason that
Scott came back.
right. So it's kind of like you're gonna have scenes like that. It just depends on the director about how they're going to do it. So
right,
Zack Snyder just chose to get it blown. You know, it was like whatever.
Yeah, but I will say, of course, Zack Snyder always being good with visual directing. I thought this was shot very well. You know, I think that his directing, you know, his camera paneling. I get where some people were talking about, where it's like, you know, some things seemed out of focus, but I think that was done purposefully to focus on what we needed to, which is what the characters were talking about and how their faces were expressing. And I also get where they were saying about Dave Bautista. You know, he hasn't really been that much of a leading role. He's mainly been in like ensemble stuff, you know, most famously Guardians of the Galaxy. But I think he did, you know, the best he could with this movie, you know, trying to act like a father figure.
If you have to say he did the best he could, then that means that he didn't do that great.
Well, I mean, I thought he did great. I thought he did great.
Okay,
like,
okay.
You know, again, you know, what to expect, but it's like, I do have to point out, like, I did see where it's like, you know, they had the whole sequence of like, oh, this going great, then breaking in, getting the money, getting out, no problems. But then, of course, we see the actual version where everybody fucking dies except for the daughter. And funny enough, the black guy makes it out alive this time.
That's a good point. That's actually a good point.
Except not because he got
he
bit,
still got bit. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
But somehow that safe survived a fucking nuke, which, okay, I guess that's not that much of a stretch, but all right. But again, I have to say, I liked it. I could definitely tell when things were going to go off the rails, but I just didn't expect them to go off the rails like that. Even for Snyder, like, everyone just straight up got murked. Even the lead of the movie got murked. And I'm like, there's literally no survivors except for the daughter. There's literally no survivors at all. Yeah. And then the way because I think you mentioned this in your like review of the movie after you watched it, how he does his zombies. Because of course we have the standard, like, you know, walking around, you know, they see you or they feel like your heat signature or whatever, and they like go attack you. But then you got like this fucking zombie tiger. Let's just bring like okay, not even to mention the fucking zombie horse that he was riding,
and cyborg zombie, and fetus
and
zombie.
Cyborg zombie. I knew. I literally had to I literally had to pause the movie myself. I'm like, I'm sorry. Are they blue? What the fuck is that? And then not even to bring to the fact of these fucking alphas that remind me so much of Resident Evil Village, by the way.
Really?
Fucking like, you know, roaming around, communicating with one another. Fucking like, I don't even. They literally implied the fact that zombies are getting it on. I don't want to ever think about.
Are you talking about Lady Demetrius? Like the parasite, like you said Village, but I'm trying to figure out because there weren't any zombies in.
Well, technically, but like the creatures, like, you know, like Jukin and Jivin, and like, you know, being a lot more smarter than usual. Not really with like Lady D, but like, you know, just how they were like different than the typical zombies, like, you know, roaming around and everything like that. I mean, fuck, we even had some fucking hibernating.
Oh yeah. Which was I felt like that was a nod from I Am Legend, basically. Like there were so many nods from different movies that American Werewolf American Werewolf in London, or Werewolf in Paris, or something like that. That's another cult film. Yeah, there were a bunch of different things in there. Obviously, he was even biting his own movies, 300, like that. Like that was essentially zombie Leonidas. So with the Batman head,
a fucking mask of steel,
right? I'm like, okay, I guess.
Where the fuck did you even get that?
You know, he started out as Captain America, coming out the van like that, but you know, it was like whatever. Yeah, like I try not to make too much sense of this movie because it's not that type of movie to be making sense from. But if he wants to continue that world on Netflix, that's fine, man. Like I'm totally fine with Netflix. Like it gives me something dumb to do every other or every so often on a weekend to watch. Like, okay, like something weird, you know. I put it right up there with Fast and Furious. Like it shouldn't make
definitely see that.
sense. You know, it shouldn't really make sense. It's not really supposed to make that much sense, but you're not really watching it for it to make sense or to sort of come together or whatever. You're just watching it to see some stunts and just see how ridiculous it's going to get. And, you know, Fast and Furious has essentially absorbed that. Personally, I think that's what Zack Snyder at this point needs to kind of understand is like he'll always have his cult that will absorb it and try to make it more than it really is. But I even thought that it was shot better than the Snyder cut.
Oh, most definitely.
It was even shot better and looked like, as blurry as things were, for whatever reason, it seemed more in focus and like less slow-mo and like not over the top stretched out situations like Super. And then, you know, it actually had a very good aspect ratio as well. It's just weird to me, some of the like decisions that he'll make for one franchise, but then he'll be like, okay, well, you know, I'm making this franchise, so let me go with the standard ratio. I'm like, so why didn't you just do that for all of, like, you know, whatever.
Right.
But it's fine though. It's fine for me.
Yeah,
like,
but at the end of the day, I enjoyed the movie. You know, again, I think it's one of his better ones. You know, we'll see how it goes. I definitely think that Netflix is probably the place for him, you know, for him to do all the wild and crazy stuff he wants to do. Because you can tell when, like, I've seen some behind the scenes stuff. You can tell when he makes these movies, he and his cast members are enjoying it like a lot. They're having a lot of fun doing it. And you want a person to be in their element and most of all happy, you know, doing a film rather than feeling like, you know, oh, it's like, you know, it's a struggle to do it, like how you've seen some of it with his DC movies. Like, you know, I definitely think Netflix is the place for him to be. If they want to make him that contract for him to do all of his movies on there or be a Netflix director or exclusive, definitely let him do it there. You know, if he feels like he has more creative freedom over there, if he feels like he has more leeway and an ability to do what he wants to do, then yeah, go ahead. I definitely think that, you know, with this, you know, I definitely think that Netflix is probably the place for him. I'm also seeing that little comment right there. By the way, speaking of which, I will say the movie was going good until you could definitely tell that agent was going to fuck everything over. That one, he is the reason girl with the bandana got killed. He is the, like, if he did not cut off the queen's head, everything probably would have gone smoothly. But
which is really weird. Like, again, this is all weird because if they've gone through this situation before, if he went with a whole nother team before, which he obviously knew about that, because people keep on saying like people were misinterpreting my reaction or impromptu review about cutting the zombie, like all he needed was a zombie's head. No, I knew he needed the alpha, but the whole point was you saw the alpha from the beginning. Like I literally think the first zombie that they meet is the Alpha Queen. When they're at I'm talking about when they first go on the mission. When they get through the doors, they see Burns shamblers everywhere, right? But there's nothing. All they're introduced to is the Alpha Queen and her protector or her bodyguard or whatever,
and the tiger,
right? And the tiger. Literally, all that, like, if it was that important, all he needed to do was hire Coyote from the beginning. And they could have done that. They could have been done in 2 minutes, and then it would have been done.
Right. They literally could have just gone in, got her head, and ran back out the way they came.
Yep. That would have been
all these
done.
unnecessary casualties.
There was no reason. There was absolutely no reason for the bank heist at all. If that really was, in fact, he probably spent more money doing that for like a distraction. If all he really wanted to do, just hire Coyote and a team of other people. The white dude comes in, say you're giving a sacrifice or whatever, and you're like, nah, psych, boom, like, there you go, you're out. This dude's gonna assemble his army or whatever, but that nuke's about to drop at the same time. Done. It's done. You know,
like, literally all they had to do was like go in, do the fake sacrifice, capture her. If the other dude was with her, shoot him in the head before he even puts on that metal mask. Then you take the queen, cut off her head, and just leave.
Yep.
All those people died for
nothing.
nothing.
Yep.
Even not even counting the fact of that little side mission of having to get that woman that got captured, and she still ended up dying from the fucking
Yep.
plane crash.
All three of them, actually. All three of them. Yeah. We don't even know what happened to them, but yeah, all three of them are gone. So what it was again, it was fun. I enjoyed it, but if we're really gonna talk about it in detail, then yeah, it comes out. It'll really turn you off of being like a smart movie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So very interesting. All right. Well, thanks, J King.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See you on the next one. Hopefully a better movie. Later, dude.
Well, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a Zack Snyder movie in general. Agree. The general consensus is yeah. Well, it's all good. Guys, go ahead and here's the link if you guys want to join in and be part of the fun here. It's interesting. Yeah. JVS and all those people, man. We haven't the thing is, I think for YouTubers, Sunday is kind of hard for them to tune in half the time. It's Monday for me, but Sunday for you guys, so it's a little hard for them to do it. But I don't like I don't like waiting until like Thursday or something like that, because it's just too this too long to wait for something like that. But if they are interested, but honestly speaking, it's kind of like whatever at this point. Like once I talk about it now, I don't think I'll probably do a reaction to the somebody sent me a link about the Easter eggs or something, and we'll probably do a small talk about that. But overall, it's kind of like overall it's like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, if you guys want to join in here's the link here. Join now. It's funny because without it being a comic book, I do notice that most of my core audience doesn't really care that much. Like, we have people tuning in because it's Zack Snyder or whatever, and they just want to hear my thoughts about it. But I think most people could care less, honestly. I think most people could care less. It's not going to be like a huge IP. It's not going to be like that money-making franchise that that is Marvel or DC. So I think it works well for Snyder's world, so to speak, I guess. Like I'm glad Zack Snyder is able to make a movie that he wants to make rather than have a company cut parts of the film. Like, well, good for him, I guess. I mean, that's the movie industry in general, yo. Like, like that's the way movies work, man. Like, people are acting like studio interference. People are acting that like studio interference is something new. That's what studios have always done. Because guess what? Who's putting that money out there? Who's putting that money to make that film? You know what I mean? The whole point is those studios, those producers. That's why you have those producers. They're the ones that are getting all that money out there, or the studios are backing it. Like it's their investment, and they want that investment to pay off. Does their interference warrant concern sometimes? Yeah, sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's their money. If I'm putting in millions and millions of dollars to a project, you're damn right I'm gonna have some creative input. I'm be like, you know what? Nah. And then at the end of the day, if it doesn't do well, that's on me. If it does do well, that's on me. The money not being what the guy cared about was all stupid, right? I agree that part as well. It was the whole thing was goofy. The whole thing was goofy when it just went off the rails trying to save somebody. They probably really should have kept it as simple as raiding the vault, and that's that. Yeah, that's why Tarantino chooses to make cheap movies, And I think that's a smart idea. That's probably the smartest thing. But you know, the thing about it is like what Tarantino does, and what Tarantino does and what Zack does is almost impossible. Like Zack Snyder cannot make a cheap movie because what he wants to do and the way he does it is just so expensive half the time. And the way he's always just showing off, like, which is good. It's like good on him, but it is what it is, you know? So it is. Only when you're a proven director do you get chances at full creative control, really. Yeah, exactly. Like Christopher Nolan. It's like, yo, make us $1 billion movie and then you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But if we're investing 20 million something dollars into a film and we're giving you our biggest golden goose, Batman, with second golden goose, Superman, and it's not coming back and it's getting critically panned and we're losing money, you goddamn right we're going to start pulling those reins back in. Wait, you want to do 3-4 more movies to explain it all? I don't know why people are so surprised about that. Just let him tell his vision. With my money? Hell no. You know? Hell no. Hey, Aka, Knight, JVS, Logan are live right now. They can come on over here. There's no way, like, because there's no other way I can do it. Or I'm gonna end up in the stream and then maybe I'll join up on their side like that. But it seems like maybe I don't even know which channel is it on. Because I just looked right now and I don't see any situation like that. So James Cameron also has that kind of pull. Again, guess who made was it $1 billion? I don't even know what Titanic. Yeah. Well, yeah. At one point for like 5 or 7 years or so, Titanic was the #1 movie of all time. The only thing that beat out Titanic was another James Cameron movie. That's the thing. And guess what? Ever since Avatar, James Cameron hasn't made another movie since then. And, you know, because he has that kind of pull. Because James Cameron can leave after making the #1 movie of all time. James Cameron can leave for a whole year, a decade, a whole ass decade, and come back with 2 more sequels, and possibly that will still make money. I don't know. I personally don't even know if Avatar is going to be making that kind of money anymore, but I don't know if, you know, whole ass kids have been born now without ever watching Avatar. I don't really know if Avatar has that sort of franchise pool now. I think he waited way too long, but if there's anybody that can do it, it's James Cameron, you know? It's like, so that's a whole nother thing. James Cameron, Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg. There's only a handful of directors that have that sort of pool. Zack Snyder is not one of them. Like, Zack Snyder is definitely. Zack Snyder might think he's one of those type of people, and his cult might think he's one of those. He should be amongst those people, right? But he is definitely not. And he has yet to. I'm trying to think. Like, I guess Watchmen was commercially successful, right? But 300, probably 300 is the only movie he's done that was like a banger, like a huge impact to the culture, so to speak, that changed a lot of things. That's it. Almost every other movie since then has been polarizing or lukewarm. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just not a good investment for a studio, for a studio of WB sort of caliber. They're not trying to hire people like that. They don't want polarizing. They just want money. They just want money, dude. Like, that's all it comes down to. Like, they just want, like, they want, I would argue they also want quality films as well. But they don't want people up here debating. They don't want people having these discussions on whether or not a movie was good. They just want people to be like, yeah, it's good. Here, I want more. Here's more money, right? That's it. That's the bottom line it comes down to. Netflix will sign anybody. They'll almost do anything because their overhead is not as expensive as what Warner Brothers doing. Netflix's marketing is not as big as Warner Brothers and things like that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just a different strategy. And Warner Brothers, when you look at when you go to Warner Brothers, Black Superman ain't the way to do it. Yeah, I agree with you on that point. If you no comment, Hathan. When you go to Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, and they give you this whole theatrical trailer, right? They give you this whole ass theatrical trailer of everything that Warner Brothers has done. It's interesting to me because there is, like, they'll show all of Nolan's stuff and then they skip all of Zack Snyder's DC stuff. They show a little bit of Suicide Squad. Like, I'm sure they've updated it now, but it's really interesting. Like, when I went there 5 years ago or 6 years ago, they do this whole casting point, this whole thing about, they show all the different movies that they've done over the almost 100 years of them being open. And it's funny because they do mention the superhero stuff, but they only show the Christopher Nolan stuff, the what's his director's name, you know what I'm talking about, Christopher Reeves. Woo! I'm terrible at this, but whatever. You know what I'm talking. Downer? No, Donald something. Donner. Richard Donner. Thank you. Richard Donner. So they show his stuff. Then they show a little bit of Suicide Squad, but they because of Margot Robbie and things like that. But they really do not. They obviously they didn't show any of Green Lantern either. So it's just that's the way WB is, man. That's the way WB is. All right, I'm gonna give one more chance here. If you guys want to call in, join up. If not, I'm gonna move to some other stuff. Maybe privately, or just go to the gym or something like that. And we can already see, I mean, normally, if it were any other stream, Invincible, anything that we've done, we'd be doing this for like 3 hours, right? Where people can call in. But, you know, it's just not, that's just not the thing with Army of the Dead. Like, I think Zack Snyder's influence is not as big as some people are really thinking. Like, it's there. It's there. But, you know, the IP, I think let this be kind of a sort of eye opener for a lot of people. Is like, the IP, I'm talking about the Batman, Superman, the Warner, the IP is by far stronger than any director that has been on working on it or will ever come to be, you know? Like, and I think that's the other thing is like some people generally ask me, like some people generally say, you know, why Marvel Zack Snyder should do something with Marvel. I'm like, Zack Snyder wouldn't enjoy working with Marvel. If Zack Snyder couldn't even follow WB's way of things, what makes you think he's going to be able to do anything in Marvel? Marvel directors almost have no identity. Like the Russos are doing things. The Russos have a name at Warner Brothers, but they don't necessarily have their own style or their own sort of signature. Joss Whedon, same thing. He tried, but then we all know what happened with that. He was going around super depressed in the sequel. You know, the director is Marvel Studios. The director and the writer is Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige. So Zack Snyder would never enjoy working for Marvel. You think they were going to you really think we're going to have Marvel Studios and legendary director from the legendary vision of Zack Snyder? No. From the pen and paper of Kevin Feige, yes. You know, I don't know why people keep on thinking. I think people are just trolling in that sense. All right, let's go. Sinestor, what's up, man?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, man.
All right, cool. Yeah, man. I'm a little late to the stream, but it seems like we're talking about like whether Zack Snyder is considered
the divorce. Yes, the big divorce from WB, the success of Army of the Dead, all of it. We're just talking about all of it. Yeah.
All right. Well, quickly, I just want to do a shameless plug. I actually did a little podcast for the movie. You can find me on YouTube as Sinestor Film Reviews. Just figured I'd put that out there. Anyway, yeah. No, I mean, I actually did like the movie Army of the Dead. I thought it was pretty entertaining and everything. There was a lot of really stupid parts to it. Like, for instance, you know, at the end when Omari Hardwick's character, you know, left the rubble and didn't die of radiation poisoning, and then we find out he actually was bit at some point, but he didn't change till hours later, you know. And I actually bring that up in the podcast with my homeboys. Like this dude, like it was hours, bro. Like he walked all the way to a car, then from the car he drove all the way to Utah. And
Thank you.
Plane, you know what I'm saying? I don't know
Thank you.
Like this has to be at least a good, you know, possibly 8 hours, bro.
People are saying I'm the dumb one because I didn't think that through or something. Like, come on, man. He's like, I read one comment on my channel where he's like, I can't believe that I need to explain how a zombie movie works. And I'm like, you're gonna have to explain it to yourself because, like, and somebody was saying, like, you know, when I get cuts and bruises all the time, and I don't notice them until somebody points them out. I'm like, that is some dumb logic right there. Yeah. You like how long has it been? You know, exactly. I mean,
if we were gonna go that route, I would say, you know, his whole body is pretty aching at this point. You know, he fought the actual alpha zombie and got fucked up. So if you wanted to say something like that, like everywhere's hurting, okay, I could go for that. But nah, bro, like he should have changed already. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, he's just now feeling cold and like tipping over and shit. I'm like, nah, bro. And in fact, if they hadn't put that in the last part of the movie, I would have gave it a better score than I did. I think I gave it like a 7. Yeah, I think I gave it a 7 or 8 out of 10, and it would have got a higher score if it hadn't been for that and some other things.
I guess the theory that like the fan split explanation that I got is the fact that his bite wasn't deep.
This is the other thing, and this is the thing I talked to.
His bite wasn't deep, so it depends on the level. I'm hearing two different versions. It depends on the level of how you get bit versus the level or versus how close you are from death. That guess
makes absolutely no sense to me. And this is the thing. So when I was talking to my homies about this, they pointed out that they thought, well, one of them anyways, thought that it depends on where you're actually bitten, because they point out that I think his name is Vandero, is a character that we see at the end of the movie. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but anyway, he got bit on the arm, right? And they point and see, because one thing I pointed out from the beginning of the movie is that when the alpha breaks out of his containment and he goes to bite the soldiers, the first ones he kills don't turn into zombies, as far as we know. It's only the other two that he bit, and then they follow him into Vegas, which is, I thought that was weird. I was like, that's kind of I don't know if you call that a plot hole or something. I was like, why didn't they change?
I thought I thought is because the ones that he bit early on were like ripped apart. Like he like ripped their head. Like he was like tearing them up way too much, I guess.
That could be. And I don't know if they pointed that out. If like, well, this is the thing too. I mean, I don't want to jump around to too many different subjects. Okay. Another thing about the movie that I thought was interesting. I don't know if you remember this part, but so the character Coyote, right? When they first get into Vegas, she points out, okay, so you see all these zombie bodies laying around everywhere. And she points out that you should see them like when it rains. Because she said it rains, that they wake back up again. And that she said, oh yeah, these zombies, I guess they like shriveled up and just died because they were in the sun too long or something.
Right.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. It's because I'll give Zack Snyder this, as far as his zombie movies go, like it's a pretty interesting take, everything he does with the zombies. I will give him that. So I thought that was cool. And I actually expected to see that happen. I thought there was going to be it would have been kind of corny, because it's like, okay, this is going to randomly rain today, but I kind of wanted to see it rain, and I kind of wanted to see those zombies wake up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway,
so did they actually say that? Like when it rains, they'll wake back up?
I'm almost positive that Coyote said that, because she has so much knowledge on the zombies. And
I remember her saying something about like they shriveled up, and I don't know if she explained it that's because of the heat, but if anybody's ever been to Vegas, I mean it's a damn desert. So I
live in Vegas, so that's why I was really excited to see this movie. And I kind of understood that part. Like you just said, it's hot as shit out here and it's dry as fuck.
Right, exactly. Right. So I was like, people do die from heat stroke. People just die in Vegas all the time because of that. Like that, it's very similar to the Dubai, where some people just go out to they'll leave the main area of Dubai and just go out into the sandstorm and never come back because you find their body like 2 months later or whatever. So
the funny thing about Vegas too is that a lot of people that
crackheads.
Well, I wasn't gonna say that, but I was gonna say like people that visit Vegas, they want to come and get lit and everything, get fucked up. Right. They'll be drinking and shit, but it's like they'll get here in the daytime and immediately start drinking, and they don't realize, especially in the summer, they don't realize you need to drink water, bro.
It's drinking, it's crazy as hell. Like you're right. You're right about that. Like I'll never. The last time I actually went to Vegas, it was hot as hell. I think it was like 104 or something like that, and it was hot as hell. And I'll never forget the fact that it was like a survival game. Like I was just drinking bottles of water everywhere I went. But then I see this old black dude, a homeless black man, banging on the drums in the middle of the street, with his shirt off. And I'm like, whoa, this guy is fine, dude. Like that. But that's conditioning. That's a whole conditioning thing. Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like in Vegas, especially in the summer when it's that hot, like you do need to stay hydrated, but you also don't want to overhydrate yourself.
Right.
But anyway, back to the movie. I'm almost positive that Coyote mentioned that when she was talking about those piles of zombies. I'm almost positive she said, you should see that. You should see it when it rains.
No, you're right. You're so a few of the fans are commenting that she did say something like that. Throw water on them and see what happens, or something like that. So
but anyway, though, it's just okay. So like I said, in the beginning, the Alpha bites, or he kills like 6 other soldiers or something like that, and he did kind of fuck them up. He did kind of rip them up. So that could be the reason why they didn't turn, but I still have to say that. So the other 2 soldiers did turn, but then you got Vanderoe at the end of the movie who didn't turn until like fucking 8 hours later. And he got bit by the Alpha. Like what? That's just a weird plot hole for me in the movie. It kind of took me out of it. It kind of
I feel you. Yeah,
I would say it ruined the whole experience. But I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But anyway, I guess to the main discussion, it's kind of like I said in the comments.
Oh, actually, since you've lived in Vegas, I wanted to ask you because I was trying to piece that hotel. Was Mount Olympus essentially based on Caesar's Palace? Is that what that like? Which hotel were they basing it off of? Because I don't remember any. It kind of looked like the Mirage, and not Mirage. The Mirage. It kind of looked like the Mirage. It had the design of the Mirage, but I wasn't really sure if it was supposed to be like the other one with 3 letters in it, the Flynn or the Lynn or something like that.
I'll say this: I only moved here like 3 months ago, like 3-4 months.
Okay.
So I haven't lived there like all my life or anything, but I've been to the Strip plenty of times, and I would say that casino is probably based off the what's the one you just mentioned? The
Bellagio?
I was gonna say Caesars. I think it was based on Caesars, but
Caesar's Palace. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not like a casino dude. I don't.
You're probably right. No, you're probably right that it was based on because the whole thing about like the design and the look of that. Exactly. So it probably was. It's just that. Yeah, it's just like there's another one called I forgot what it was called, the Win or something, the Fin or
the Win. Yeah,
is it called the Win? Okay, there you go. The Win. It also had kind of the shape of the wind though, which was kind of interesting as well. So
it's probably like an amalgamation of different.
Yeah,
major
you're probably right.
We have here.
Ain't nobody want to be recognized for being the place that in Army of the Dead, this is where the zombies got it on. Yeah, no.
If it was a Michael Bay movie, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even fuck with Michael Bay like that, but they probably, I don't know, he's probably a little more notable.
No, you're right. You're right. It would have had Paris, actually, the Paris Tower of the Paris Casino. It would have had it like crashing down in slow motion and wiping everybody out. I mean, the most accurate part that they kind of got really well was the New York, which I think is kind of interesting that they chose that one, probably because there's no indication that that's like the New York hotel, but it could basically just be like, look, Statue of Liberty. It's just a torn down Statue of Liberty, Planet of the Apes style like that. And so the hotel can't really complain. Like, there's no MGM hotel. I think I saw a little bit of a destroyed Mirage though. The whole is that Mirage or not Mirage? Not Mirage. Luxor, the Luxor Casino.
Oh yeah, because actually, in the beginning when they show the Alpha and the other 2 zombies looking down at Vegas, I'm almost positive you do see the Luxor because it's at night.
Yeah,
the Luxor is shining. It's the top of the pyramid and everything.
Yeah.
I think that was in there. And actually, it's interesting you bring that up because I was thinking the one thing I pointed out in my review about the movie is that pretty much all the landscape is CGI'd in. I mean, and it's actually that was kind of it was lacking a bit. It was so obviously CGI to the point where I couldn't not notice it. And and maybe that's because, I guess in post-production that all happened during COVID. I don't know if that makes a difference.
No, you're probably right.
I thought it would have been cooler if, he could have gotten
miniature.
Well, not just that, but like if he could have actually gotten those logos in the movie, like of the Luxor and the Caesar's, palace and all this different stuff. If he could have gotten that in the movie, like in the rubble and everything, I thought that would have been kind of cooler because That's one of the reasons I was excited to see this movie. I'm like, oh shit, I'm living in Vegas and it's Vegas. Like this movie is set in Vegas. I'm like,
Yeah, no, Netflix ain't paying that much money just to do that.
Nah, man.
Could you imagine somebody? Could you imagine somebody from Netflix already? Like, they are going to the Association of Las Vegas and trying to explain that, okay, so we're gonna make a movie where like Las Vegas is already hurting because of COVID, and you guys had the shootout not even that long ago too. 2 years ago, yeah, you had the worst, the deadliest shooting in U.S. history on your ground. I think it was he was stationed in the what was he? The Mandalay Bay. Yeah, he was stationed. Was it Mandalay Bay? Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he was posted up in Mandalay Bay. Anyway, so the whole point is Vegas has been hurting for a few years, and COVID's not. Could you imagine just a Netflix official trying to explain to the Association of Tourism, like, yeah, so we want to make this post-apocalyptic world of zombie movie, and can you just sign off on this? Yeah, no.
But the interesting thing about Vegas is, especially when you move here, you don't even have to move here, but Vegas is all about tourism and like advertisement, and that's kind of another reason why I thought it would be a good idea to put these to let everybody know, because there's another movie that came out where it was kind of like a post-apocalyptic movie, but they had all these building structures around there and logos that you knew where it was. I can't remember what it's called, but I agree with you. I mean, it's a Netflix movie. Like, are they really about to pay all the money for that shit? Probably not.
Nah, it's like let's reference it, but like, we're not. We don't like. And then again, it comes down to the fact that I think of most of these casinos owners don't really want to be associated with having maybe Old Town Vegas. Yeah, no problem. The Gold Digger or like the Golden Nugget. They might want like some sort of business to be populated around there. They got fossils there all the time. There's a hell of a lot of zombies, real life zombies in the Old Town Vegas anyway. So but like the $1 million the strip, nah, man, they don't want to be referenced with that. Like the next time you go to Vegas, you're the first
I agree.
Army of the Dead. Yeah.
When I think about it, it's like Vegas got hit pretty hard when COVID happened, because like I said, it's all about tourism here. Like literally that's how they make most of their money. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. But anyway, though, like as far as what you were saying about Zack Snyder, like I don't consider because I'm a cinephile. Like I love movies and everything. I don't consider him a great filmmaker. I consider him a good film. I know people are disillusioned with him, I suppose, with Batman and Superman, and I completely understand that. I remember when I saw Man of Steel. I mean, when I first saw it, I was hyped for it. I loved it because I was like, I don't know, I was like 20. I don't even know. I was really young though when I saw it, so I was hyped for it. But then after, later viewings, I'm like, okay, this movie is not as good as I thought it was. It's one of the more likable movies in the, in his version of, DC or whatever, but it still has problems. Batman vs Superman is so fucked up. Like, the Ultimate Edition is better, and it should have been released in theaters, but it still has newer, like just too many issues, right? So it's like, but I still think Zack Snyder is a good filmmaker. I don't like 300, to be honest. I think it's like overrated. I don't know why I feel that way. Like most people love that movie, but I'm just like not a huge fan. And then Watchmen? I actually love Watchmen. I thought Watchmen was great. And I know that he didn't exactly follow the source material for it, specifically with the giant squid and all that shit. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was like the cinematography was great. It was a cinematic experience to me. I was really young when I saw it, so maybe that's why I feel that way. I don't know. I don't really like the Owls of Ga'Hoole. It's just not my type of movie. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong. It looks like very well made, but I'm probably never gonna watch that on purpose unless I'm with somebody who asks me to watch it. And what other movies has he done? Like, Sucker Punch. I actually watched that like a year ago because everyone was saying you need to watch this movie, to understand Zack Snyder's vision or whatever. And I thought it was just kind of boring, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of fine ass women in there. But I was just like, what is the story I'm watching?
I mean, there's a Snyder cut of that movie as well that nobody's ever seen, but I don't think anybody cares enough to see it.
I mean,
so.
well, I'll say this, but it's probably because I'm such a fucking film geek. I would watch it.
You would? Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely watch it, but I'm sure it's not going to be much different because, like, the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman wasn't much different, you know.
Right.
I mean, but I will say this: his version, his cut of Justice League is much better than the one that came out in theaters. It's not a perfect film by any. It's not even really a great film, but I would say it has very beautiful visuals. And somebody pointed this out. Actually, I think you actually watched this person's video. It's one of the videos on your YouTube. I don't remember the name of the YouTuber, but he basically talks about, Batman, not Batman, but the Justice League Snyder cut. It was a really long ass video, but he basically pointed out how, like, most of the shots in that movie look like paintings, They're pretty beautiful. And I had to give him that. I actually think Zack Snyder is a great cinematographer.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Story-wise, you need somebody to help you with that, broski. But other than that, that's why I think, I don't hate on Zack Snyder. I feel some type of way that he kind of took DC in a direction that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? But I will also say this: Warner Bros. Might have had a hand in fucking that up too. So I'll just say this.
So you do, I guess to wrap things up, do you feel like Zack Snyder is definitely in a better place and with being around Netflix? Like, he should be signed exclusively to Netflix and just gets this divorce with Warner Brothers completely finalized?
I don't know, because it's like, I mean, I feel like
do you want the restoration of the Snyderverse?
Oh, hell no, I don't want that.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, what are you alluding to here? So, wait, are you saying that you don't want him as part of Netflix either?
Sorry, like, I'm kind of long-winded, but I guess I would say this. I just feel like, I just think Zack Snyder is a decent filmmaker. He's just not great. Like, I agree with you when you say, people are out here saying he's like a great filmmaker and he's like, one of the greatest of our time. Is like, yeah, I mean, he's good, but I don't feel like we need to overhype him like that.
Right.
I definitely don't think he needs to be involved in DC anymore.
Okay.
I'm happy that he's done with that. I'm very much looking forward to the new movies he does, because, like, even though I have my problems with Army of the Dead, I liked the movie. It was entertaining. I'll probably watch it like one more time at some point in my life. So, there's that. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to see what he does with Netflix. I mean, I know that there is a prequel to Army of the Dead coming out. The guy who played Ludwig, the German safecracker, he'll be directing it. And Zack Snyder, I think,
really?
Yeah, he's actually a German film director, and I think Zack Snyder is helping to write that project, or he helped write that.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting. And if
what the hell else is Zack Snyder doing that he can't do the prequel?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
But there is also an anime style animation coming out with Netflix as well. That is going to be another prequel, and that's going to be about the team before they all broke up and everything. So that could be interesting. I mean, yeah, I know.
So you dead ass need supplemental material for it to all make sense.
Yeah. But I'll just say this. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what he does in the future. If it's got to be with Netflix, so what? I mean, COVID has pretty much changed the film, industry. So that's the direction he wants to move in. That's cool. So yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds fair to me, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you calling in, and you guys make sure you check out Sinestor and his old podcast and things like that for more movie reviews.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Take care.
You too.
If you guys want to call in and join the stream, just by all means, you can join now. Well, actually, after I take this call, that's fine too. And he just left. I almost got this dude, but he's gone now. Sorry, dude. And he's back. All right, let's see if he can connect. Rex Road, are you there?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Hi. Nothing much. I haven't watched the movie yet, but
what?
I haven't watched the movie Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I think it's cool.
You think it looks cool?
Yeah, is it good?
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, it's a simple movie. If you take it simply, but if you overthink it, yeah, it adds a lot of plot holes and things like that. But it's fine. So, why are you a Zack Snyder fan? Are you just a zombie fan, Netflix fan? Why are you interested
I
in
am
watching it?
I'm a Netflix fan.
Okay, okay,
I'm not really. I mean, Zack Snyder. I feel like he's a one-dimensional like director. Like
damn,
because he just like he looks at stuff like hardcore, and I feel like he doesn't look anywhere else. He just looks at hardcore stuff like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman. Like he just has like a one-dimensional view on stuff, and I just I
edgy,
don't like. Yeah, edgy, exactly.
edgy
And
shit.
just
Yeah,
like no.
I see. So. So then I'm a little confused then because Netflix has a lot of stuff on that available, and I'm sure they have better zombie movies out there from Robert Rodriguez, Night of the Living Dead, even one could argue The Walking Dead, the first couple of seasons and
Yeah.
such. Um, so what is this is 100% an unfiltered Zack Snyder type film. What's the appeal for you to watch it?
I guess um to see different a different take on zombie movies
Okay.
because I like different take on like the same material like vampires and like all that stuff. So to see his own take on zombies, I think it would be cool.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think that's a fair like had I known that Zack Snyder was going to do what Zack Snyder does and try to change the game or change the genre, I might have been a little more open to that idea. And no, you know what? I take that back. To be honest, no, I wouldn't. I would have been mad. I would have actually, I'm glad that I didn't know that he was going to do that kind of stuff because it would have just reminded me. I would have been having Batman v Superman flashbacks again. Like, oh my God, he's doing it again. Why can't this dude just make a simple story? Like, why does he have to overcomplicate things? Right. So I'm kind of glad I didn't know that and just took it as a basic B movie or so. I see. I see. There was something. Oh, so if that's the case, I was just a side notion. What was your thoughts on Resident Evil Village? Are you familiar with that at all?
I haven't played it yet.
Okay, because that's a big reinvention of zombies, not even zombies, but of vampires or vampiric type symbiotes, lichens, werewolves as well, the island of Dr. Monroe, and I would say the ventriloquist sort of puppeteer type of Chucky. Yeah, there you go. Like child's play. There's notions of child's play in that game as well. So you might want to check that out. It's fairly interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say I've been watching you for a long time, and I think you're a really cool guy, and yeah, I love your interactions with Blind Wave, and I love your reactions.
I Thank you, Rex. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for watching for so long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for calling in, dude.
Yeah, of course. Oh, and
Yeah. Yeah.
seen the Snyder Cut?
One more time?
Have you seen the Snyder Cut?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched it. I've made more than enough videos on the Snyder Cut. That's for sure. Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, I just felt like it was too long. I felt like it could have been 3 hours. Maybe like it could have like they could have shaved a couple more like minutes off of it. I felt it was too long. It should have been 4 hours. It should have been
I
like
agree
at
with
least
you.
like 3 hours and maybe 20 minutes.
I agree with you. It was way 2 hours too long. That's what I would say. So,
Yeah.
well, awesome. Well, Rex, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
take
I would
care.
like to talk.
Yeah,
I would like to talk to you again sometime.
I'm always here. All right.
Cool.
Later, man. See you. Cool. The way his connection was, like, I was just like, I had my button on the I had my finger on the panic button because it wasn't his fault at all, but I think just the way the connection was coming in kind of slow, like I was just kind of getting ready for some sort of like profanity laced rant, or like the moment he said, "Oh, I didn't actually watch the movie," I'm like, "Uh-oh." And so I was like getting ready to like like I'm not about to get a copyright strike. I'm not about to get a terms of a TOS violation, because anything can happen when these calls come in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my god, that would have been terrible. Like I just thought he was going to be like butt naked from shirt down or something like that. You know, he's like, oh, I didn't see the movie, but you can take a look at this. That's what I was just like, oh, finger on the. That's why I looked a little nervous, because I was just like, finger on the trigger, right? Yeah, yeah. He's like, yeah, Akasan, you're always talking shit about Zack Snyder, and here's some edgy shit. Well, I got some edgy shit. Shut it all down, son. Shut it all down. It's kind of interesting. Speaking of the divorce again, I got the go ahead, Negan. Wait a second. No, don't do that. Okay. I saw something on Twitter that was like, if you were in charge of DC, what would you do? Right? If you were in charge of DC, just what would you do? And some of the replies are really interesting, but I was just like, yo, let me not even get on this, man, because it's gonna be like huzzah, huzzah, kshing, kshing, kshing. But again, in my opinion, I don't is DC has I think DC has minor problems that people are blowing up to be major. And I think this is just an accumulation of a lot of issues that when the power shifted about 7-8 years ago, when Nolan's sync copy was on his way out, and Kevin Sujihata gained more power, there was just a lot of issues that happened around that time, where it was people that didn't really necessarily know how to run a universe or create a universe. They just thought it was going to be as simple as doing just making a bunch of movies and having them vaguely connected or whatever, right? And where when you look at the reason Marvel's universe is so successful is because that's all they had. That's all they had. Like, it was either, yo, we do this or nothing is gonna work, That's it. But when you have everything, when you're a studio like Warner Brothers, and you have everything and you have the money, it just seems easy. It really seems easy to make the same sort of thing. So you don't really have that. Like, I honestly, I dead ass believe that the people at Warner Brothers were enjoying making billions of dollars off the Dark Knight movies. And since Nolan didn't really want to do anything more, they're like, all right, cool. No, that's cool. Like, that's fine. That's fine. What about this Zack Snyder guy? Like, he had a hit with 300. What about him? Let's see if you know, he likes comic books and stuff, whatever. Let's just like, I honestly think they had no really concept of what they were trying to do, but they just assumed that putting somebody that likes comic books was going to make a success, like was just going to be successful. And they were just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, you know, oh, he's got all these ideas. Oh, they sound really comic booky or whatever. Like, let's go ahead. I guess let's just do it. Here's some money. Go make a movie, right? Go make this universe. And then once there was such a backlash from it, that's when the panic button was hitting, because it was like, wait a second, the universe that we just commissioned you to make is not working out. And we didn't actually step in, and we didn't actually look and see what you were putting out until it was already too late. And that was BVS. Now everybody's panicking and we're getting critically panned. Like Warner Brothers legit is getting torn apart, which is something a movie studio of Warner Brothers never wants to be looked at like that. You know, could you imagine? Could you imagine if Disney was getting that same sort of heat? They would be livid. Yo, people hate our product. What? You know, people would be livid. Every time you say something bad about Disney, their lawyers step in and they just shut it down. They shut it down hard, dude. They're like, look, you can have some critiques, but we ain't about to have you continually trash our good name. So Warner Brothers is like going through the same issue right now. But you know, that's the thing. If Man of Steel was churning out money like Transformers, Warner Brothers wouldn't care. They'd be like, okay, whatever. We're still making money, right? They'd care a little bit. They care a little bit, but they're just gonna be like, okay, if it was doing Fast and Furious numbers, they wouldn't care as much, you know? But the problem is those movies were getting trashed and they weren't making a lot of money. They weren't making enough money to be continuing a franchise off of that. It's like, all right, never mind. And that's the thing. It's like you can't look at Warner Brothers, especially the IP of DC, for 50 years now or however long. Can you honestly look at these sort of characters like I have behind me and be like, all right, let's put that on the same level as Fast and Furious. Let's put that on the same level as Transformers. You know what I mean? Like, that's almost an insult for comic book fans. That's a damn near insult. Like, yeah, man, it was popcorn fun and blah blah blah. And especially, I guess the thing that changed it all was really The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan movies. They brought the DC franchise to a whole nother level that people like respected it. It wasn't like just spandex goofy stuff anymore. It was, you know, I don't know. This is all me theorizing or whatever, but it's kind of like, it's just that now it just went to a certain level. It went to the level that is really hard to recover from. Like, it was so hardcore, it was so edgy that now there's nothing that they can do. You know, it's very interesting, man. It's just very interesting. It's just very interesting, like this divorce situation and what it's going, what this means for the future, what this means for everybody, and such. But you know, I'm all for a ride. I would say, guys, as I think we're probably just gonna wrap it up here. With this particular discussion, as things are on their way to the end here. What was I gonna say? Okay. This divorce, you know, it had to happen. Were there some bad points? Yeah. Were there some good points? Yeah. Um, it's like on both sides. Should WB have had tapped Zack Snyder to helm a whole universe? No. Actually, yes. Yes. But what WB should have done early on was establish a strong council of people to kind of work together to put something out. Not just Zack Snyder, but a bunch of other people involved, like the Paul Dini's of the world, the comic book writers of the world. I don't know about Jeff Johns, but people that understood what the general audience enjoys about the Marvel movies, and not saying cloning what the Marvel movies are, but I think their whole attitude approach was just not so good. They went through this idea of like, okay, we're going to just make everything edgy. We're going to try to do the opposite of what Marvel is doing. But I think what they started realizing is like the people that only want, because for the longest time, that's all I was hearing was the fact that, well, DC comics are darker than Marvel. So it's fine. The movies can be darker than Marvel, like that. All right. And I don't think that's always true. There's just different brands and different titles for different ages or whatever, right? It's just that Marvel things worked a lot more, especially teaming up with Disney. Their more lighthearted stuff works fairly better because Disney is, god of marketing when it comes to kids and things like that. Uh, so the biggest issue was they got Zack Snyder and they just assumed that this dude was going to be able to do everything. And before they knew it, it was already too late. Like they rushed, and before they could do some proper course correction before moving on, Zack Snyder was already on to another movie, which was BVS. Then after that, he was on to another movie, which was Justice League. And they went so full steam ahead trying to play catch up or just trying to make some sort of universe that they didn't stop and think, okay, what were the problems here and what can we do to kind of fix it? If anything, if they really wanted to do it properly, and hopefully we're going to get a better version of it next time, is put out 2 or 3 movies a year, 2 or 3 movies a year by different directors, but you have a head of somebody that's doing something like that they're the person that's constructing the Kevin Feige of it, right? And there's some sort of connection, and maybe, who knows, maybe that's what we're going to see one day, is what they're trying to do with the Black Superman, alternative Joker, the alternative Matt Reeves, right? Like the alternative Batman. Maybe that's exactly what we're seeing right now, is there's alternative mixtures of different people, and then you're going to have some sort of universe jumper to bring them all together. So it'll be a different take on like the Avengers troop of coming together. Yeah. But yeah. So it's very interesting, though. It's very interesting how that works. Is the fact that I think Zack Snyder is still going back to that day, that time. Still going back to that time, to that day when they announced that he was going to head up the DCEU and everything. I still remember how or not even before then, when they announced that Batman was going to be in the next of Man of Steel 2, I still remember Zack Snyder saying that he wanted to he just wanted to do Man of Steel 2. Like, he was like, I just want to focus on Clark Kent. I just want to focus on telling the Superman story right now. But he said the studio really wants to get Batman back into this, so I'll just do whatever they want to do. I'll never forget this quote. It's really hard to find now, but I really remember being in Fukuoka and reading this because like I was like, all right, so he doesn't even really want to do Batman right now. He just wants to tell Clark's story. But then gradually, as time went by, and once we got up to that San Diego Comic-Con logo announcement, now Snyder was at this point was already full-blown DCEU. And he said it in the Variety interview, like, mentioning Batman is like, you can't put the genie back in the bottle after that. Once you say it, there's almost no turning back in terms of getting him back in, you know? So, anyways, wait, I agree, but I think there was other stuff that made it difficult, like Ben Affleck leaving Batman. The director was not even happy. We're not even happy with WB. This is true. This is also true, but I'm just talking about the early beginnings, the really, really early beginnings. Because again, the beginning and the end of the DCEU was Batman v Superman. Nobody will ever tell me anything different. Like, the beginning and end of the DCEU are the I wouldn't even say the end because it's still going on, but the struggle, the ultimate downfall, like, of not, like, never getting anybody on board was Batman v Superman. Like, you can't have a foundation sort of story polarize an audience, and it was polarizing in Man of Steel. It was polarizing in Batman v Superman. It's polarizing in Army of the Dead in terms of a good or bad movie, right? No studio wants that kind of sort of situation. Nobody wants to have that sort of conversation, right? So it's such a mess, dude. It's such a mess, and that goes back to my original thing of like why they're not going to be doing anything with the main canon Superman for a while. Why, honestly, the DCEU needs to be rebooted so we can all kind of have a clean break from Zack Snyder, and kind of give a fair shake to a new set of creative hands. You know, this happens with comics all the time. The New 52, especially within DC, actually. You know, people are up and down about a certain particular way the universe is. Don't worry, in about 2 years, we're doing a soft reboot anyways. DC Rebirth, the New 52, 0 Hour, or whatever it was called. DC has rebooted their universe so many times to boost sales like that. By the way, a side thing people have been talking about is that there's been word on the street that they're going to be selling the DC Comics very soon. AT&T is looking to sell DC Comics. I didn't actually check the link, but I'm sure it's probably We Got Discovered. Like, if it's from there, don't believe anything they say. Now, if something like that actually happened, if they sold DC Comics, that's a hard one. That'd be a very difficult problem. Because Warner Brothers' biggest IP, one of their biggest IPs is the DC characters. So it's kind of like, that would be very messy. That would be extremely messy. Nobody, like, I don't believe it so much only because of the fact that, like, nobody's going, like, who, that would be ridiculously dumb. Warner Brothers is synchronized, so synced with DC Comics. And there's so much of their properties have been shared across the Warner Brothers world. Space Jam is a good example. Space Jam, you have so many DC characters in there. There's no way that they're ever going to have a clean break from that. There's no way that that's going to happen. No. Because then after that, you got what? Harry Potter? That's Harry Potter, King Kong, and some other like lower level stuff. I mean, the $1 billion franchise is still with DC Comics. Trust, like, look, they're gonna keep on making Batman movies. It doesn't matter what's going on with Snyder. They're still making Batman movies. They'll be making Batman movies while you and I are far removed from this planet, man. Like, they're never selling DC Comics. Like, they might liquidate it, or they might cut down DC Comics to like limited comic book runs or something like that. That's very possible. They might start making mandates that because the biggest issue is it's a print company, and print is kind of dead. And if there's a digital comic that comes out, people just download it, unfortunately. So that's the biggest issue. Yeah, they ain't doing anything like that. Don't worry about it. So but I would say just let's hold out hope for what am I thinking of? Hold out hope for the Flashpoint, man. I feel that Flashpoint will do something strong. I hope. If not, look, we still got Matt Reeves' Batman, Aquaman 2. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon. Warner Brothers is going to be fine. This is a hiccup right now, but they just the biggest thing I noticed the most is after Justice League, the theatrical one. I was just like, yeah, man, I'm good with them. I'm good with them just doing solo movies for now, because they obviously are having a huge problem trying to do what Marvel has tried to done. So yeah, gotta go fast, Barry. Better, faster than ever. What do you think will happen with Affleck? Affleck's gonna come in. He's gonna say his kind of goodbye at The Flash, and then that's it. He'll be done. He'll go back to doing what he does best, and that's just making regular ass movies. Like, that's more enough. Yeah, that's more than enough. It's fine. Suicide Squad is coming out soon. DC is fine. DC is fine. It's just that our Warner Brothers is fine. It's just that they got a little ahead of themselves, and I guarantee you, when we start getting those trailers for Flashpoint, I keep calling it Flashpoint, but when we get trailers for the Flash, and when Aquaman 2 comes out, people are just gonna stop talking a little less about Snyder, and there'll still be people around mentioning things, but it just won't be as frivolent as it is right now, because all we have, especially because of Corona, all we have are looking back at what could have been, right? And obviously Zack Snyder teasing his base each time. It's like, and I even this is speaking about Army of the Dead. I'm already seeing headlines that Zack Snyder already has plans to write a sequel to Army of the Dead if the fans want it. I'm like, oh, where have we heard this before? It's just I wish there was just more than I just wish there was just more faith in the product itself, that you wouldn't even have to say that, like, just put out one good solid movie to get people excited and then to want more. Like, a good example is Joker. Joker is never really meant to be a sequel, but it's so good that people want more, right? That's the way it should be. They may never do a sequel. I've heard they've tried to. They really want to do a sequel, but there may not be another one. 300. People have been wanting a sequel to that. The sequel we got wasn't as good, but it was just so exciting. That's the way it should feel. This idea of leaving room for a sequel reminds me way too much of Dracula Origins or Dracula Beginnings, or with that movie with Luke Evans. Like, it was like, all right, well, it seems like you're world building here, but this first movie wasn't really as good. That wasn't that good enough to really want me wanting an entire world around it. You know, with even though you had the homie up here, Tywin Lannister, saying, "Let the games begin." You know, an entire world. Like, see what you did with Mummy? Yeah, okay. Meh. Anyways, Dracula Untold. Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's wrap it up. Hey, what's up, JJ? You wanna give your thoughts real quick on wait, actually, I don't think you watched the movie. Maybe you did watch it. I don't know. All right. One more time, guys. You can join in now if you want, since JJ just popped in here. We're just talking about Army of the Dead, the relationship with Zack Snyder, Warner Brothers, all that. I guess we're talking about the Monsterverse, a little bit of that. And then we're just wrapping it up fairly soon here. I'm just also seeing I'm surprised that Logan Swish Knight over on JVS's stream right now. I'm surprised they're still going at like talking about this movie was not that interesting to have a long debate, but I guess because there's more people, there's more forms of opinions, I suppose. Yeah. All right, so JJ just says he liked it except for the overload of movie cliches in that ending. Yep, that seems to be the consensus. All right, so I'm gonna basically wrap it up here at saying, from what I can tell, from what everybody's saying, most people liked it as a basic ass movie. At least in my demographic, at least in my world of fans, the Red Dreaded Nation, nobody's saying it's a masterpiece. People are pretty aware of its faults, but they would like to see more, you know? Basically, Ocean's 11's was they'd like to see that they would like to see more, basically. Yeah. And I'm fine with that too. It's going to be the brand new franchise? Probably not. Like in terms of like a banger franchise? Nah. But you know, it's whatever. It's a kickback thing. Something I don't take too seriously. Just check it out. The same way I look at Fast and Furious, the same way I look at Transformers or something. There's not really like heart in it in terms of like relatability. It's just something you just kind of watch for whatever. Like it looked like a video game Resident Evil. It's like Resident Evil, I feel. It's not I don't think it's as bad as Resident Evil and the Resident Evil movies as of late, but it's in that same sort of world. It's definitely that kind of thing. So I'm good with that, you know? Aka, are you joining Team GVS for a bit? Lucas is going in on Army of the Dead. Maybe I'll listen in, but you know, I think that's their thing. So they didn't ask me like to be part of it, so it's all good. If anything, the audience is right here, son. No. All right, y'all. This was leaps and bounds better than Resident Evil. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I don't get the people saying that the movie has a deeper meaning. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, so like I say, I always try to present to you guys a forum to speak your mind and say what you got to say, because people think I'm always being very biased about things, but I'm like, this is the moment. This is your chance to call in and say what you want. If you think I'm being biased, I'm like, no, but this seems to be the majority of opinion, at least on this channel, at least in this world, right? And I always give you guys an opportunity to call in and go ahead and fansplain how much deeper it really is, but nah, man. Yeah, man. The Akaverse. There you go. Exactly. Anyways, all right. So maybe I'll come back on Twitch and we'll do a few reactions to the deeper meaning. I mean, the Easter egg videos somebody sent me about Army of the Dead. I don't know. I got to think about it. I'm kind of done with basically talking about this movie. It's not that serious. It really is not that serious. But I had a fun time, and luckily my opinion hasn't really been swayed so much. Like, I thought I was going to start hating the movie after hearing what you guys are saying, but for me, it just was never that serious of a movie to begin with. It's not the DCEU. It's not Batman. It's not Superman. It's not $1 billion franchise. It's not something that I feel like I need to protect. It's just Zack Snyder fucking around with zombies. It's whatever, man. You know? What did he say? I love the stream, but sometimes you got mad hate on something. If anything, I would say I'm very fair. I would say I'm very unbiased. Like, I said I liked this movie, you know? Like, I could really go the narrative of just hating on this movie because of Zack Snyder, but I don't. I just don't like his movies I just don't like his direction with the DC. But I love Dawn of the Dead. I liked Army of the Dead, and I liked the 300. So, and Sucker Punch. I actually like Sucker Punch as well. So, but people just always think you need to be like one-sided, you know? No. So I saw a comment yesterday that said, "Man, this guy hates Snyder. He's always nitpicking." I'm like, are you new to the channel? Haven't you seen any of my videos? The whole point is to nitpick with the reactions. I do that with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and everything. So whatever. Yeah, people are always going to have deep conversations about Snyder now. Yeah. Also, as a director, I thought Zach did a Drake. Some amazing, but script was written by a 14-year-old. Yeah. All right. And I respect your guys' opinion as well. All right, guys, we're done for today. Army of the Dead. Love it, hate it, whatever. Am I glad he's working with Netflix? Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Army of the Dead. Better than The Flash right now. Better than The Flash. Yeah. You guys take care. I'll probably see you on Twitch a little later. It's still pretty early for me. So either that or I might go to the gym. I might see what JVS. How can you still talk about Army of the Dead? They've been going for like 3 hours here. Nah, man. Maybe I will pop on that stream. All right. And yeah. I'll talk to y'all very, very soon. Take care of yourselves. I'm out. Bye.
You're living in a fucking dream world.